couple more from the audience. We'll take the gentleman in the yellow and one in front, and then the lady in the front row. The yellow tie, I should have said. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. It's Stephen Wilson from the Natural Environment Research Council. Picking up on John Denham's comments on climate change, and also the Prime Minister identified it as one of the big challenges ahead of us. I was wondering what signals the government needs to give now to ensure that UK science, engineering and innovation leads the response to tackling climate change and ensures that our UK business is at the forefront of the opportunities as well as the challenges that we're going to face in the future.
Thanks. Just in front of you.
Stephen Fasham, Oxensis, we're a green tech SME. Just a question on that. We've talked a lot about universities developing our students and providing science and engineering graduates to work with companies. But I just wonder if we're also at the same time creating a kind of a danger of how we go on to work with those universities, in that we're also encouraging universities to be much more commercial in how they address funding, things around how they deal with their IP, and which actually potentially makes them very difficult to work with when you're an SME.
Yeah. Final question?
Kathy Sykes, University of Bristol. Just to welcome the government's attempts today in busting the myth about science being elitist. And I suppose just urging everybody in the room to join in. And I think we're in a country where we don't have a big can-do feel. We all think of ourselves as being a country where we have great ideas that other people make the money from. So I just want to urge all of you in the room to really be standing up and, you know, us celebrating that we have a country of people who not only can do, but have done. And, you know, be prepared to show yourself as role models. And that's the thing, it is cool to be an inventor, isn't it? Even if it doesn't seem cool to be a scientist. So urging everybody in the room to be prepared to act as role models. And asking government, I mean, it was a great start this morning, I think, with the breakfast, with all these celebs coming. Is there anything you can do to help to promote and celebrate fabulous new inventors that help everybody think, oh, they've done it, and actually I could do that too. I don't have to be a celeb.
Yeah, that's great. You know, John, I'm afraid I have to ask you this in relation to Stephen's first question. In a minute we'll come to what signals government can give in response to some of the climate change challenges. But I guess your own industry and some of the enlightened engineers coming into it are also thinking about that. Would that be right?
Well, of course it is, yes. And my company, Flybridge Systems, we're working on green technology to reduce the emissions from cars, probably by 30% on average in real life cycles. And it's a really big growth area, and there are great opportunities for companies in this sort of business. You know, we don't have to dominate the world market. 1% of it will be hundreds of millions of pounds. You know, it's a great place to be at the moment, and everybody is really enthusiastic about it.
And John, you made a comment in your speech about kicking something off today, but it seems to be a recurring theme with the government, very responsive to this issue.
Yes, and to take Stephen's point more widely, I mean, what we recognised last year when we produced the Innovation White Paper, Innovation Nation, is we've got to get every part of the system right. And one of the key things we have to do is to create, through policy, through procurement, through regulation, the certainty that says this is an activity that's worth investing in. So the commitments that we're making on renewable energy, the commitments we're making in other areas of policy, give a certainty to say, well, in this country there's going to be a huge volume of activity in renewable energy. And that means that people look at saying, well, there's a business opportunity there. And that makes sense then for the investment that we're making in the most fundamental research, which is a long, long way from ever going to market, and some of it will never go to market. We do that. We do the applied research. You have the TSB that helps take it to the next stage. We, and Paul's leading very much on this, sorting out the funding system for the small start-up companies, the SBRI and so on. And what we try to recognise is that government signals have got to come at every part of the system. So you can't just pour the money into a research bit and hope that somehow it will be produced something that will be exploited. You can't just say we're going to create a demand for renewable energy and hope in some magic way this country will benefit. No, it won't. All the other countries will sell us the stuff. So we've got to get every part of the system right. And if there's a sort of thumbnail sketch of what our department's trying to do, it's trying to work with people to do that.